Good evening, everyone. This is Angy Stewart from Miami InnerLight here at Kardec Radio. And tonight we are going to come back. We're going to resume our studies of this beautiful book, Thought and Life, and also the Gospel according to Spiritism. So I was away for almost 2 weeks, and I was able to come back now after a wonderful time between business and pleasure. And I had the opportunity of visiting 4 Spiritist centers in London. It was really, really nice. So I met all those people and I visit their homes, their Spiritist centers. And I understood their struggles. They also have many struggles like us here in America. So they also have difficulties to pay their rent. They also have difficulties to spread Spiritism in English. Yes, it was in London, in the UK, but as here, lots of Brazilians are Spiritists. But as we do here, we have to persevere. Because when you are in a foreign country, when you are in a country that speaks a different language, and here in the US and in the UK, we speak English. So we should really, really try to make an extra effort to spread Spiritism in English. So I would like to send a big hug and a big kiss and a tight hug to my friends in London, and congratulations for your beautiful work there. Another announcement that we have to do before we start the study is this beautiful event, the first International Youth Spiritist Weekend. This is going to happen in July 7th and 8th in Washington, D.C. And we would like to invite all of you who have teenagers or who know people who are parents of teenagers and would have like interest in visiting there and bringing the teenagers to study, to have fun, to learn together. KardecRadio.com is where you should go to register your youth. And remember, the 51st teenagers that do a little task online, they will have their hotel fully paid, their meals, and also the entrance of the event. So this is really, really an effort that Kardec Radio is doing in order to be able to spread the news and bring more and more and more teenagers to participate actively in the Spiritist movement. So this is a blessing, and please do not miss this opportunity. Okay? So now that we gave our announcement of today, put your water next to you, as we always say that in Spiritism we believe the spirits will bless our water, and this water will be our medication for the next 1 or 2 weeks. And now we would like to invite you just to calm down, relax, and we can do our initial prayer. Almighty God, beloved Master Jesus, thank you so much for the opportunity of being here again at Kardec Radio to study these 2 beautiful books. And we would like to ask the help of the enlightened spirits to inspire us and help all of us, the ones who will be listening right now and the ones who will be listening later on to the recording, so they can fully connect with the material you're going to be reading, and we can get inspiration in order to make good comments about what's going to be read. Please stay with us, and thank you so much. So be it. Very good, my friends. So today we are going to study chapter 19, prosperity. So again, if you just arrived right now, Thought and Life, number 19, prosperity. So I will read it and then we can make some comments. It's already 9:05. So let's go. Prosperity. Prosperity on the earth generally means wealth and happiness. Many want to possess it so they can attain a prominent social status, authority, or power. People spend a great deal of energy during their lives to acquire advantages. Occasionally, the media reports those who study the occult as a way to obtain prosperity. There are millions of people today who seek after gold and prestige with the same eagerness of prominent people on a hunting expedition. In pursuing whatever he values in life, man mobilizes his mental energy, which stems from his emotions and desires. If the mirror of the heart is constantly focused on certain objects and situations, it leads us to the elements of our soul's desire. We should not forget, however, that in our arduous journey towards the divine glory, we oftentimes confuse ourselves with the object of our attention. We then dwell in a certain sector of our struggle according to the extent and duration of our aims. Like a film projector, where a story is told by frames that succeed one another. Our personal experience is a series of reflexes about our feelings. These registered feelings generate a succession of ideas that in turn cast the theme of our struggle. The mind then associates and identifies itself with these reflexes, clinging to them like a turtle which retreats into its protective shell. For this reason, the concept of prosperity, as understood in the world, is always debatable. Not everyone knows how to possess, increase, or manage prosperity in a way that follows those sacred objectives of creation. There are many who continuously reflect upon ways to acquire wealth, and they succeed. However, if they do not employ this wealth for the general good, they merely fall into their own pit until they decide to stop their greed. Many people today eagerly toil and crave personal prominence. They become renowned in the areas of science, religion, literature, and the arts. But if they do not activate these abilities to help in the education of their fellow beings, they almost always, despite intelligence and fame, suffer the mentally rebounding effects of extravagance, thereby falling into a dangerous maze of purification. That is why prosperity is more deplorable than a material poverty itself. A table without food and a cold stove are sometimes a valuable means of reparation. Sumptuous banquets and full purses often develop into guilty feelings, from which the only way out is through long periods of struggling in darkness. Many religious people ask Why does God protect the material progress of the ungodly? The fact is that such fortune does not really exist. Prosperity that is devoid of a right conduct is nothing but an unlawful acquisition of things. It is like shiny clothes covering hidden wounds. The false sense of prosperity requires new thought reflexes that are contrary to the errors that produce them. Wow! True prosperity, when transformed into service, education, love, and righteousness, confers to the spirit the predominant reflection of light. Wow! As usual, Emmanuel is tough. But, you know, so in this chapter, we are able to understand the difference of prosperity this concept of prosperity that we have here on the planet Earth, and the real prosperity of the spirit, who are different. You know, when we talk about prosperity, what's the meaning in the dictionary? So I took a very simple meaning. The dictionary: prosperity is a condition of being successful, generally related to material possessions. So this is the concept of prosperity on the planet Earth. But as we read, this is a dangerous prosperity. I didn't even say hello to anyone today. So let me just see if I can go back a little bit and see who is here. More or less, I can't go back all the way, but I see Steve McPherson. Hello, welcome, Steve. Saul Souza, you were able to arrive, Saul. Very good. I'm happy you joined. Daniela Stefanelli, my dear friend, Mama from Jersey City, how are you? Adriana Machado Viana, hello, my friend. How are you? How is your swimming school? Great success for you. Carla, my dear friend Carla, hey, always here. Maria Almeida, hey, my dear Maria, how are you? Very nice to see you here too. Pedro Rodrigues, wow, hey Pedro. Teresa, hey Teresa, welcome back. Kathy Liu, oh my God, my Chinese sister, that's awesome that you're able to join. Very, very good. Steve, welcome back to Miami. Yes, I'm back. I returned. That's awesome. It's wonderful to travel, but it's wonderful to come back home. Always wonderful to come back home. Julija, hello Julija. How are you? Long time I don't talk to you here in the studies. So coming back, we are talking about prosperity and the difference of prosperity in our planet Earth and prosperity, speaking in general terms, of even spiritual prosperity. So let's go back to what Emmanuel says right in the beginning of the chapter. By the way, if you don't have the book, you can go to Miami InnerLight, then you go to photos here on Facebook, go to photos, then you will see both books. You will see Thought and Life, and you will see the Gospel, and we are on page 73. So in the first paragraph, Emmanuel says, prosperity on earth generally means wealth and happiness. So it's almost like if you are rich, you will be happy. That's what we all think, isn't it? No. We are spiritists, so we should know better. We know in Spiritism there are certain tests that are very tough. And we know the test of being rich, it's a very difficult one. The test of being beautiful, it's another very difficult one. Or having a lot of power is another one very difficult. So there are some tests the spirit chooses or they are imposed that are very difficult. So prosperity on earth that's connected to richness, to power, to all material acquirements, it's a very dangerous one for us. So Emmanuel continues. Many want to possess it so they can attain a prominent social status, authority, or power. So this is like what prosperity on earth is. So everyone wants to have it. So you can be prominent, you can be powerful, you can be something special. Even like actors and actresses, you know, it doesn't mean prosperous just like in richness. Yes, some actors and actresses are very rich, but not everyone. But they can be prosperous in whatever they are doing. The problem is not being prosperous. The problem is like, what are you going to do with this prominence, this power, this exposure? This is the danger. And then we go. People spend a great deal of energy during their lives to acquire advantages. Occasionally, the media reports those who study the occult as a way to obtain prosperity. Okay. There are millions of people today who seek after gold and prestige with the same eagerness of a primitive people on hunting expedition, like in the expeditions of the past, the gold expedition. People, here in America, people travel west to search for gold. So this was like the most important thing. And nowadays, also, people are still searching for this. They want this. And then he continues. Then we comment. And please, if you want to, happy birthday. Yes, you're already ahead of time. Aren't you in Australia, I think? Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm getting older. Oh, my God. After certain years, you don't want to get older. So in pursuing whatever he values in life, man mobilizes his mental energy, which stems from his emotions and desires. If the mirror of the heart is constantly focused on certain objects and situations, it leads us to elements of our soul's desire. Okay, our soul's desire. So we are arriving in a good point. What should be our soul's desire? So this is something to think. We want to progress. We want to get better. We want to evolve. And we know in Spiritism, the elevated spirits, they are highly elevated in education. They are extremely intelligent and highly elevated in the moral aspects. So we should want to be prosper in both of these items. But how do we deal with this? This is what we need the help, because we know this is our goal. Our goal is to be prosperous in both senses, intellectually and morally. But we struggle sometimes on how to obtain this, or when we already obtain it, how to deal with the consequences. So let's continue. We should not forget, however, that in our arduous journey toward the divine glory, we oftentimes confuse ourselves with the object of our attention. We then dwell in a certain sector of our struggle according to the extent and duration of our aims. Like a film projector where stories told by frames that succeed one another, our personal experience is a series of reflexes about our feelings. These registered feelings generate a succession of ideas that in turn cast the theme of our struggle. The mind then associates and identifies itself with these reflexes, clinging to them like a turtle which retreats into its protective shell. This is something for us to think about. Are you a Gemini? Yes, I'm a Gemini. So Emmanuel continues. For this reason, the concept of prosperity, as understood in the world, is always debatable. Not everyone knows how to possess, increase, or manage prosperity in a way that follows those sacred objectives of creation. This is the struggle of life. This is our struggle. You know, we see nowadays, I give the example of Brazil because I am Brazilian. So nowadays, the Brazilian politicians, they are struggling so much because of all this corruption that have been exposed. We always knew it existed, but we never discovered it in such an explicit way. So this is the danger of politics. We know that everybody that have a power, they will be charged for whatever they did with their power. Even in your home, let's suppose you are a father, you are a man of a home. So you have a wife, you have 3 kids, you also have your parents that depend on you. So you are, how can I say, you are the main figure in this family. So you are supposed to help them, not just financially, but also guiding them in all the aspects. So you don't need to be a famous politician to be charged by your actions, but what did you do with this power that God gave you? To help your wife, to help your 3 kids, to help your parents and your in-laws. How did you treat them? How was your life with them? Good or bad? Did you give good examples or did you give horrible examples? Did you mistreat them or did you help them? And you know, when we talk about help, doesn't mean that we are always thinking about giving money, but it's very important to give good examples. I always say that it's more important for us to be able to teach someone how to fish than to give the person the fish. Because when you give the person the fish, let's think about the fish like a material thing. This fish will soon vanish, will disappear, will be eaten. And then the person will be hungry again. But it's important that you teach the person how to fish, because when that one is done, the person is able to go and with their own efforts to take another one. So this is the good example that we can give. And our authority will be questioned in the spiritual realm. Of course, if you are a politician, that's different. That's brought to a higher level, because now you're not taking care just of your family, but you are taking care of the families of the other families. You are in a position that will hold money and important decisions to take care of, who knows, city, a state, a country. And this is a lot of responsibility, a lot of responsibility. It's not easy. It's not an easy task. That's why not everybody has this task. But some people, they have it, they wanted it, or they asked to have it. So this task has to be well done, and it is well guided. People that are in this position, they are guided. Like all of us, we have our guardian angel, and the people that are in positions of a higher level, they also have a very good help. But the problem is, are they able to listen to the help, or they are shutting down and using their ego, using their own ideas, using their own desires, like Emmanuel mentioned before here. Let me see if I can find. Every time I try to find something, I never find. Quickly find. Of course, I'm not going to find. But that's what Emmanuel mentioned before, that you start having these feelings that you connect and you cling to it and you think this is the most important thing ever. And when you are exposed to something like this, being a politician, it's very easy to go into a route that's not the one that you're supposed to go. Because there are so many temptations, so many dangerous temptations. And this is what we have to overcome and try not to fall into this very, very dangerous trap. And when Emmanuel continues here, he says, there are many who continuously reflect upon ways to acquire wealth and they succeed. However, if they do not employ this wealth for the general good, they merely fall into their own pit until they decide to stop their greed. Many people today eagerly toil and crave personal prominence. They become renowned in the areas of science, religion, literature, and arts. But if they do not activate these abilities to help in education of their fellow beings, they almost always, despite intelligence and fame, suffer the mentally rebounding effects of extravagance, thereby falling into dangerous maze of purification. So here Manuel is explaining that yes, there are a lot of people who search for wealth and they get it because they are able to develop through their intelligence. They develop machines, they create things. Let's think about the two examples that I really like to give. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and they are actually good friends. They are really close friends. These two men, they became wealth because of their own means, because of their own intelligence, because of their own hard work, and they became millionaires. But the difference here is that they did not become slaves of their possessions. They are millionaires, but the millions of dollars do not own their souls. So they made all this money and they understood that they don't need this money to be happy, that this money can be used for something good, for something much bigger than themselves. So what they do is that they finance so many institutions. They help so many causes around the world. There are so many causes in Africa that Bill Gates is really working hard with his wife. And Warren Buffett is the one who suggested he also helps. So many universities that receive funds, not just in America, but so many places that we don't even know, because they really follow what we study so hard in Spiritism, and we understand that whatever your left hand is doing, your right hand shouldn't be looking and knowing all the time. Yes, sometimes it's good for us to do something good, to inspire other people and say, hey, if she's doing, you can do it too. But it's not good to be like a show off. Oh, look what I'm doing because I am the best. This is not good. And you know, if you are doing this, sometimes we do things like this without even understanding that we are doing like this. But we have to know that the elevated spirits, they know our soul. So they understand if you are doing charity or good deeds because you love it, because you want to inspire other people to do the same, or because you want to be a show off, like, ooh, I'm a great person. So it doesn't matter why are your intentions at this moment. The important is that it has to be done. And one day we will be able to be like these two men. I cannot say if me, Angie, if I was a millionaire like them, if I would be able to be like them. Because it's not very easy for us that we are not millionaires. It's difficult to understand the level of danger these people are exposed. They are really rich and very famous, so they are things very hard for us to comprehend. But at least these two men that I know, but there are millions of people around the world who are able to do this. So they were able to detach their personalities, their lives from the money they are doing. So they are able to do these beautiful causes. They are able to help and inspire people all over the world. And another thing, I think I mentioned in our last meeting also that the chapter 18, let me see, what was it? It was society. I don't know why in society I was talking about a plastic surgeon in Brazil who does the same thing like these two men, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. He dedicates one day of his month in his whole hospital, and every single plastic surgery done there is free. But it's not that he does plastic surgeons like, oh, okay, liposuction. No, the day he dedicates for the poor is really for surgeries that they need. I mentioned here that there are the kids that have the mouth cut, that they don't have the palladium of the mouth, or many other types of surgeries that they desperately need, and they have no money to have access to this type of surgeries. So he dedicates his time for this for free, and he suggests to the other plastic surgeons who work with him to do the same. So it's a beautiful work. It's a beautiful work that they are able to help hundreds of people in one day. I don't know if it's one day a week or one day a month, but it's very famous. So this is how we should deal with prosperity, with finance or with power or knowledge. Whatever we have, whatever we were able to succeed, we should use it in a positive way, in a way to inspire others to do the same thing. And if we come back to our cleft palate, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to say. When it's cut and the poor kids, they can't even eat or they can't even drink. Coming back to our situation, in London, I gave a few lectures, and I remember one person asked me, oh, but I don't know how to be positive because life on earth is so horrible and is so depressing that's very difficult for us to understand the earth is actually progressing and is becoming a better place. And I said, yes, it is difficult, but it's not impossible. And we should start on our own. We shouldn't be waiting for the planet to change if we are not doing our part. So if you want to see beauty, if you want to see happiness, if you want to see progress, start doing it. Start doing it yourself, your little bit of a happiness. And I was telling her, because nowadays the media, in 1 minute, you can understand what's going on the other side of the planet. You can follow the volcano exploding in Hawaii. You can see an earthquake in Japan. So many terrible things. Somebody went and killed a bunch of people. And the media feeds on this news because everybody gets like, oh, another horrible thing. And all the TV channels are feeding in that. And this is like a dark energy, a heavy energy. And we all feed into that. And we all start connecting with these dark ideas. And yes, these things are happening, but we could do our little a little tiny bit of a good deeds. And what can we do? Can we use Facebook? Yes, we can use Facebook. But instead of exposing all these horrible things that are already on TV, totally exposed, let's expose something positive, something good. Let's expose even a laughter, because we can start doing our little deeds of positive things. And this week happened a beautiful thing that I was so surprised and so happy for this person. I'm sure you all saw, because a lot of people shared, and me too, about this man, this young man, 22 years old, that he was in Paris. I think his name is Mamadou something. And he was in Paris. He said that he was waiting to have lunch or something like that, when suddenly he started hearing everybody screaming and like a huge commotion on the streets. And then he said he went to the streets to see what's happening. And he's looking and looking. And when he looked up, I think it was like on the 5th floor of a building, 4th or 5th floor, I'm not sure. There was a child hanging out outside of a balcony. When I saw that, I was like, oh, my heart stopped pounding, because I don't know how that child was able to hold for such a long time. But suddenly this person is filming, and suddenly I see somebody climbing the balconies like a Spider-Man. Yes, it was exactly like a Spider-Man, but he didn't have the was like unbelievable. I don't even know how many minutes, but it was so super quick. He was able to reach the 4th or 5th floor. He put his leg in the other side. He grabbed the baby and boom, threw the baby inside the balcony and saved the life of this baby. So it was so beautiful, was such a beautiful act of braveness. He put his own life at risk. And then was even more beautiful was to know the president of France wanted to meet him in person. I was just like, oh, this is wonderful. So he wanted to meet him in person to congratulate him. And the best of all is that he granted him 2 things: a French citizenship and a job as a firefighter. So he will be able to study to become firefighter, to put this super, how can I say, the superpowers of climbing balconies to maybe save many other lives. So what I was talking before is that if we always start sharing positive acts, there are so many beautiful things all over the world. Us here in the US, there are so many beautiful charities. You know, there is the charitable project that we help in Africa that is helping so many kids, so many families, and now they are expanding, you know, the fraternity without borders. They are expanding to many other causes, even Venezuela is living in Brazil and so many other things. And there are thousands of beautiful things. So like I told her, instead of sharing negative things, horrible things that everybody already shares, let's share something positive, something good, something that will bring happiness to the others. So this is a way for us to start really coping with so many negative things around the world. When we see something positive, we smile, we cry in happiness, and that's how it should be. And the last sentence of Emmanuel is beautiful. True prosperity, when performed into service, education, love, and righteousness, confers to the spirit the predominant reflection of light. And that's what we want. We want light. We know the enlightened spirits, they are lighter, they are brighter. So everything that's darker has less light, and it's less involvement, it's less morality, it's less goodness. So let's try to make our own little tiny light. Let's try to strive every day to use well whatever prosperity we have. Let's try to use it well. Let's try to make our prosperity a collective one. Whatever I learned, maybe I can help somebody else to do the same, to prosper, to benefit from it. So this is the true meaning of prosperity, to be able to bring happiness, to bring goodness to everybody else, to learn well how to use this beautiful light that we will all get one day. So we know that a spirit do not digress, do not regress. But there are the spirits who get kind of lazy, stagnate. So they do not make a lot of effort to improve. And that's not what we want. We don't want to be the lazy spirits. We want every reincarnation we are progressing more and more. So this is the most important thing. So let me just read these two comments and then we are going to change to the gospel. Oh yeah, good, Carla. So his name was Mamadoga Sama. Amazing young guy, amazing young guy. And he climbed in less than 30 seconds. 30 seconds? Oh my God, I had no idea that was in 30 seconds. Oh my God, that's why the child didn't fall. That's amazing. I had no idea this. River said, we have to remember the media only expose those catastrophic news because we pay attention. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I said. So we should change our attention in order for them, what? My God, my thing hit changed. In order for them to change all the news line. Yes, yes, exactly. But sometimes it doesn't matter, River, because there are millions of people around the world and the TV channels are connected. You can turn it off because one thing is knowing what's going on. We need to know. I'm not saying that we shouldn't know the news around the world. We have to know. But the difference is when we know something and when we get connected with that. I don't know if you guys lived here, but in 9/11, when it happened, for months and months and months, the only thing you saw on TV were things related to 9/11. Then the first anniversary, then the 10th anniversary, and it continues. So you don't need to feed in all the things negative that happen, but we can switch to something positive. We know that there is the law of destruction. So God is the one who understands why, when these things really happened. But we don't need to be feeding our energy on that. So yes, let's switch channels. Let's expose good and positive things so we can help people to disconnect from the negativity. And Saul said, André Luiz from the book Our Home, Nosso Lar. He was a doctor and he had a wealthy life and he didn't like to help his patients for free. And when he died, he realized the only person who prayed for him was a poor woman and his mom. Yes, very good, Saul. In this book that's actually, Nosso Lar is actually translated to Astral City in English. André Luiz, he was a doctor and his secretary was a very, very charitable person. And his secretary is the one who always sneak some free patients. And he like, okay, I accept it. So he actually saw few patients because of his secretary charitable acts. And this lady who he always saw, and she went there with her husband. When they both passed away, she was so excited to see him. She was so happy because for her, he was a really loving man, a super, super charitable person. But in reality, he did that good act more or less forced by his secretary. But even like that, he still did good. And this benefited him a lot, because when she was still incarnated, she prayed so much for him, and this helped him so much. And his mother, of course, she is so enlightened. She's already from a much superior plane, and she comes to visit André Luiz in nosso lar, helping him to evolve a little bit. So I know 9/11 is my birthday. Oh, really? Oh my God, River. So, my friends, this was a really, really important chapter, very powerful, prosperity. So we took a little bit more time than what we should. Sorry. So now we are gonna go to the gospel according to Spiritism. Again, if you don't have the gospel, please go to Miami InnerLight photos. You will see the book there. And we are starting on page 48. We are studying Socrates and Plato. We are studying his teachings. This is the summary of the doctrine of Socrates and Plato that Kardec, he really put specific points that are extremely important and that are very similar to Christianity in general and to Spiritism. So the number today is number 17. So let's go. So the first part is the sentence or the comment of Socrates, and then is the comment of Kardec. Just to remind you, because I love to do this every single time, Socrates, he was born in 469 before Christ. So imagine, is what? 2,000 years ago? So it's really amazing. More than 2,000 years. 2,000 years ago is a Jesus. 2,500 years ago. So when we study his thoughts, you're going to see that they are so connected and they are so actual. They are happening right now. And he was thinking this 2,500 years ago. So 17. Virtue cannot be taught. It comes as a gift from God to those who possess it. Then Kardec says, this is approximately the Christian doctrine regarding grace. However, if virtue is a gift from God, then it is a favor. And we may ask why it is not granted to everyone. On the other hand, if it is a gift, then there is no merit on the part of those who possess it. Spiritism is more explicit. It states that those who possess virtue have acquired it through their own efforts during successive existences, by gradually reading themselves, by gradually reading themselves of their imperfections. Grace is the power that God bestows on all men and women of goodwill, so that they may rid themselves of evil and the practice of good. And this is absolutely true. So in Spiritism, we know that God does not give some gifts to certain nice people and give problems to other bad people. It's not like that. We get gifts that are like things that we really did so many times that we learned well. And maybe in this incarnation, you already learned it so well that you can be like a wonderful pianist, and it's natural for you. But you probably practice charity in so many lives. So in this life, you are very detached of material beings, and this is like something that's into your spirit. It's not that God made you charitable. It's not that God gave you the gift of being a talented pianist. But these are things that you worked hard and you were able to learn by yourself. So this is what we understand in Spiritism. So number 18. It is a natural disposition in each of us to perceive our own defects much less than those of others. And then Kardec. The gospel states, you see the speck that is in your neighbor's eye, but you do not see the plank that's in your own. This is true. We are really fast and quick to point at the problems of the others. We are so fast to say that. Oh, look at that man. I can't believe he's doing that. It's horrible. Isn't that a disgrace? But you do not see that you do similar things. Sometimes not related to the exactly same problem, but you do other things too. But we are always fast and quick to see problems on the others. But we imagine we are little angels, we are perfect, that we do not have any defects. And this is wrong. We have so many problems. We are so imperfect. And one of our imperfections is this, is seeing problems in the others, not understanding that we have so many other problems too, sometimes even worse than the problem that we see in our neighbor or in our friend. So number 19, if physicians fail in treating most ailments, it is because they treat the body without treating the soul. Wow. And since the whole is not in a good state, it is impossible for any part of it to be well. This is amazing. This is exactly what we understand in Spiritism. So let's see what Kardec says. Spiritism provides the key to the relationship between the soul and the body, and the proofs that there is a constant reaction of one upon the other. Thus, it opens up a new path to science, and by showing it the true cause of a certain illnesses, it provides it with the means of combating them. Once science begins taking into account the spiritual element in the body's economy, it will fail less frequently. That's beautiful. That's very, very, very deep. So it's amazing that Socrates knew that. So Socrates had this broader understanding, even in that time where the physicians really didn't know so well the bodies, because, you know, there are so many medicines that were not developed. And basically, if somebody got cut, the person was going to die of something. And nowadays we have so many medications, so many treatments, so many machines, but the physicians still do not understand that some diseases are from the inside of not just of our physical body, but from our mind. Sometimes we create diseases in our mind that reflects in our physical bodies. And we know that people who have a tendency of being angry, of hating someone, of being envious, they end up keeping, you know, negative energies inside of them. Every time that I say hateful words, you know, I'm keeping them inside of me too. It's almost like I'm feeding myself with hatred. So every time you are doing something negative comes back to you. And sometimes don't even need to come back from other people. Sometimes it's already coming from ourselves. And every time we have these tendencies, this negativity, we have tendencies of creating diseases in our physical bodies. We have a tendencies of destroying our physical bodies. So it's not that our physical body was created to have cancer. It's not like that. Sometimes we create this ourselves with our acts, with the ways we behave. So we start auto-destructing this blessed world that's our physical body, because we need this in order to be able to be active, to be able to live this life to the fullest, so we can improve ourselves and better ourselves. So whenever the science starts understanding that sometimes what we create is this reflects in our body, then things are going to start switching. That's why in Spiritism we understand that the spiritual treatment can help so much. Really, the enlightened energies of the spirits through the mediums, the past givers, they can really make changes in our physical bodies. But what we have to understand also is that we cannot be slaves of passes of the healing treatment or of the spiritual treatment, because a lot of times we are the ones who create the problem. So we need to learn what has to shift in my mind. How can I shift my mind to create beauty, to create light, to create happiness instead of negativeness? So when we start learning how to shift that, we will be able to need less spiritual treatments. Yes, we can always go to receive passes because they are a way of cleansing, but we are not going to be producing so much negativity to be able to need to be so well deeply clean. So this is all mental reflexes. That's what Emmanuel said in the past book. What type of mental reflexes are you creating? So think about it. What kind of mental reflexes do you create? When you go close to someone else, that person is happy to see you, do you feel that you are bringing something positive to join that person? Are you giving some kind of a good gift, even in just an energetic way? You know, there are some times that you approach someone and you feel like so good, that person brings so much joy, and there are other times that person like, oh my God, I can't believe that person is so heavy. And you know, so we need to help these people to switch from the negative to the good. And the other one who is positive, let's learn how to be positive. And then you must be thinking, but the positive person must be rich, powerful, beautiful, have a great job. We studied this book. We just studied this book. So you know that prosperity is not necessarily connected to finance, to beauty, but it's connected to what is inside of us. And there are some beautiful videos that I saw of Fraternity Without Borders, where they interview very, very simple people in Africa that are going through situations that you cannot believe. And they give beautiful moral lessons of resignation and love. And us, that we have everything, we live, we have homes, we even have air conditioning, and we complain of so many things. We complain of little things. Yes, life is not beautiful all the time. Life is not a wonderful thing all the time. But in our condition right now, in this moment, we are living very, very well. And we are going through everything that we need. So it's very good that when we are exposed to situations that are much more worse than ours, because we understand there are problems so much higher, so much more complicated than the ones that we live. And there are people who are able to go through these problems without so much complaint as we do. So let's take these lessons, let's learn with them, so we will be benefiting ourselves, we will be improving ourselves. And yes, if we can do something to help those people who are going through a tough time, that would be even better. So let's take this in consideration and think about it. So, my goodness, 10 o'clock. Let's read one more. Number 18. It is a natural disposition in each of us to perceive our own defects. Oh, that's the one I just read. The other one is too big. 19 is too big, and it's already 10 p.m. So, let's just read one. Nobody's going to die. Let's go. If physicians fail in treating most ailments, oh, that's the one I just read too? Yeah, my goodness. I talk so much that I get confused. Yes, I read this too. So it's fine. It's 10 p.m. Next time we are going to read 20. And, wow, we'll be only two. 20 and 21. Awesome. So next time we're going to read this two, and we are going to already start chapter 1. Yay, finally. But to the ones who have been here before, you know how important it is to have this solid base that the introduction of gospel gives to us. Because most of the people, they don't read the introduction. They think the introduction is not important. And if you analyze how important is to understand that 2,500 years ago, Socrates was already talking about things that are so similar to Christianity and to Spiritism. So you are never going to forget the importance of these precursors, this man that they came to earth in order to put this very solid base. So they could cement the base that Jesus, many, many years after, was going to come back and continue this work. So this is a blessing. And thank you so much to Socrates for volunteering to reincarnate on earth and leave these beautiful lessons with us. And as you know, Socrates never wrote anything, but Plato, his pupil, his student, he's the one who wrote, and we have these beautiful messages because of him. So, my friends, we are finishing. Let me see if anyone else wrote anything here. So we are going to finish the introduction today. Oh, I didn't have time. Almost. Two more. So next time we are gonna finish. Kardec Radio, happy birthday, joyful Angy. Yay! Yes. Tanya Schwartz, hello Tanya. Wow, welcome. Nice to see you here. My friends, so it's 10:03. We need to finish our study of tonight. It has been a blessing to have all of you. Thank you so much for participating. And as we always do, let's dedicate 1 little minute just for a prayer so we can connect it with the enlightened spirits who are here and who are right there with you at this moment. So we can really benefit from this energy and connect with them. Dear God, our guardian angels, the benefactors of Miami InnerLight and Kardec Radio, thank you so much for the blessings received tonight. Thank you so much for the beautiful teachings. Please, Master Jesus, help all of us to continue our missions here on earth, progressing day by day, helping others, being more charitable, and learning how to deal with our own prosperity in a very positive way. And Master Jesus, please help our brothers and sisters who are going through very difficult times, whatever they are, if they are in prisons, if they are in nursing homes, in hospitals, in countries suffering. Please bring a little bit of your love, your soul, your positive energy, and help them to connect with it and have hope, because life is eternal and this struggle is not. it will pass. Thank you so much, and so be it. So my friends, thank you so much. It was awesome to be back to Miami. It's wonderful to travel, but it's always marvelous to come back home. And it was great to see all of you here. And I hope to see you again in 2 weeks. Okay? Mwah! See you soon. Bye-bye. God bless you all. Bye.